A very good evening and welcome to CBC Business Outlook. It is a wonderful day today. We should know that a lot is going on in Zambia and the country keeps developing no matter what. That shows a resilience in a nation that has gone through so much. But I'm Jimmy Kanasha. We have so much to give you today, so do stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is Business Outlook. We go into one of the most lucrative businesses in Zambia, and that's mining. Now, the KCM copper smelter hopes to restart production in the next few days, ending several weeks of non-production. Now, the refinery has had an annual capacity of 300,000 tons, and KCM has invested at least $16.5 million in repairs. That includes the replacement of old copper cooling equipment as well. Now, in mining, Castillo Copper Limited has appointed a Merchant Corporate Advisory Pty Limited to facilitate a placement to raise up to $2 million to ramp up its developing of the three strategic copper pillars in Australia and here in Zambia. Now, the placement at an issue price of the greater of 2 cents or 75% of the 15-day volume weighted average market price of the shares is being made at a premium to the current price of 1.7 cents, and free attaching options are exercisable at 5 cents within 3 years from issue will be issued with the shares on the basis of one option for every 3 shares that have been issued. Now, due to potentially securing this funding, the CCZ board has also resolved to expedite exploration across the 3 pillars, with work commencing at the Mount Oxide Kangai copper mine, and priority is the Luansham Kushi projects here in Zambia as regulatory approvals are secured. Still on the industry, now the Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank Limited, ZICB, has announced a partnership with global payments technology company MasterCard to issue a MasterCard prepaid and also debit business cards, providing its business customers with a safer and more convenient alternative to transacting with cash. Now, this is the first time a Zambian bank will issue MasterCard business cards, which enable companies to streamline their purchasing processes and set spending limits and track expenditure when employees travel, featuring the latest EMV contactless payment technology. Now, the cards will also provide ZICB customers with a convenient, globally accepted payment solution with the highest security protection. And ZICB's Chief Executive Officer, Ignatius Mwanza, says that they're excited to partner with MasterCard as the bank actually implements their agenda to becoming a leading digital bank that contributes to Zambia's economic development. Also driving the growth of their SME and corporate customers through innovative and convenient payment solutions such as these is actually how they create a better tomorrow for the country Zambia. Now, the debit and prepaid cards are designed with accessibility in mind, offering safer, faster and more efficient ways for people and businesses to manage their finances while reducing their exposure to the safety risks and high transactional costs of handling cash. And the Zambia Investment Corporation Bank customers will actually be able to withdraw money from MasterCard licensed ATMs and also pay for goods and services at millions of merchants both here in Zambia and in more than 210 countries and territories worldwide. This is CBC Business Outlook. We take a short break. When we come back, we go in focus. And today, we are actually discussing with somebody from the Zambia Qualifications Authorities. Stay tuned. The Bridge Network presents the Woman Unlimited Conference on the 16th of November 2019 at 207 Kasangolo Road in Roma at the House of Rose Events Garden. The time will be from 09 hours to 16:30 hours. Tickets are available at only 150 kwacha each. For more information, call 0979 440093. Woman, her walk, her worth, her work. See you there.
This festive season, get a redefinition of how infotainment is supposed to look like on a brand new lifestyle magazine show dubbed 15 Minutes of Infotainment. What? For a fresh breath of celebrity interaction, unveiling of hidden treasures, music videos, animations, poems, comics, and many more. 15 minutes of infotainment, where relevant information meets entertainment in 15 minutes. Your Monday and Friday evenings will never be the same again. 15 minutes of infotainment. Be well informed and entertained. Coming soon.
I have never seen anything like it in my life.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
What? You ready?
You're ready. Trash is here, you can take a break.
That'll be nice.
Hot air balloon, never go to space. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof.
Wow.
Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't none. Bring me down, can't none. Bring me down, I said. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is. You. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth.
Right, purified water. Enjoy the pure, refreshing taste and stay rehydrated. Aquarite.
I think that sounds a great idea. I'm a big fan of.
Dinner at 5 o'clock sharp. Party, I will be there at 4 o'clock, honey. My stomach can't wait till 5. Let's eat!
Gosh, this is quite something.
I may have no sleep, but it will be finished. We'll work around the clock. We'll get it done.
Amazing. Brilliant.
Hi, I'm Jen.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Shingle Creek.
It's really yours. If we like it, we stay.
Sorry. Oh, no. My pleasure entirely.
At the time, it was pretty much just a cold case homicide. This is a possible serial killer or a sociopath.
Just the power. You can just hear just the raw power that it has.
Let's go!
There's a little something for everybody on DSTV.
This is CBC Business Outlook, and today I know I have a man in a cap today, and also he's actually from Zambia Metrology, I believe it's authority.
Agency. Zambia Metrology Agency.
I keep going for authority.
You keep going.
Yeah, I know.
The powers that be.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And also, I know I'd like to introduce him by name and ranking or whatever that is, but I think I'll let you do the honors.
Right.
It's good to have you, by the way.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So, who are you, so that the people know?
Right. So, my name's Chola Busuma.
Okay.
I am the Public Relations Officer of the Zambia Metrology Agency.
Okay.
Not to be confused with the Metrological Department, which is what we get a lot. It rained heavily today, so we've been getting a lot of those calls. But metrology comes from the word meter.
Okay.
And the Zambia Metrology Agency then is the national regulator of measurements and how these measurements are applied.
Okay.
So we are housed under the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry. So how we use these measurements, where we use these measurements, the type of instruments that we're using to measure. That's where we come in, just to see that individuals, companies are using measurements as they are supposed to be used.
Interesting. It's a good thing you've talked about measurements, and you've tapped into something. My next question: who is supposed to come and see you if I want to get something measured, or is it people who measure things, or is it people who are yet to measure things? Who's involved?
Well, wherever measurements apply, I mean, even the simplest concepts of time. I don't know what you do, but first thing I do when I wake up is check the time. If the time is wrong, then the whole day is messed up.
Indeed.
So anyone who maybe is in business, whatever business you're into, small business, large corporation, industry, we cater for all the various sectors. Before we were known as the Zambia Metrology Agency, though, we were known as the Zambia Weights and Measures Agency. And we only dealt with what we refer to as legal metrology, which is the application of measurements in trade. So instruments that were used for trade, the measurements that were applied with an exchange of money, we will come in to deal with that and regulate that. But measurements goes beyond, weighing and measuring, and there's so many applications where measurements come in. So the changing of the name came with an expansion of the mandate. So we're talking industry now, we're talking science, we're talking health, all these sectors, environmental management and law enforcement. All these areas are sectors that we now cover as the Zambia Metrology Agency.
So it's now it's a vaster. You actually are covering a whole network, I believe. What's been the response so far from the public?
Well, so far we've been talking to a number of the people and a number of our clients. And so far, at least people are beginning to get a general understanding of who we are and what we do. This year, we've embarked on 2 projects. The biggest one, which is the standardizing of the MEDA, the commonly used MEDA. We're calling it the Dry Measures Capacity Project. And so we launched it sometime in May 20th at Chilenge Market. And we're planning to roll it out to other markets around the city and of course around the country. Now the concept concerning the MEDA is these are capacities that have been used for a very, very long time.
Indeed,
probably even before Zambia's independence. It's a form of trade where people, the traders use small buckets or containers, and they trade mostly dry food products. So what we realized over the years is that this form of trade, even though it's been generally accepted in the marketplace and by consumers, it's not been prone from fraudulent activities. So we had concerns that traders were ripping off the consumers. Consumers were getting less but paying more, and even just the activities surrounding it. So there were concerns that people putting candle wax in there, were hammering on the containers just to make the containers seem smaller. So it's a way to work on these things and just to allow the traders to have a general appreciation for the importance of measurements in their operations. The Zambia Metrology Agency conducted a study and came up with prototypes, and these are the prototypes that we distributed in Chilenge. If you go to Chilenge, the place is filled with the ZMA standardized MEDAs, and like I mentioned, we are going across the country.
So, just briefly, what's the average standard of a MEDA? I know people, probably somebody out there is curious. I know there's a trader watching out there and saying, okay, maybe I know what a MEDA is, but probably they don't understand what the qualification standard is.
So usually what we found out was that the MEDA is really, the average is like a 5-liter container. Of course, there are other denominations that there, but and that's the thing. That's one of the other key things that we found was that on one stand you would have so many different capacities and measurements, and the traders don't really know how much they'll be making from these capacities. So that's what this project did. We created standard MEDAs, standard capacities. We have a 5-liter, we have a 1-liter, a 500 mils, we have a 250 and a 150 coming up as well. So for us, about ensuring that there's a measurement standard as a measurement regulator in the market, so that there's fair competition and a harmonization of trade practices in the market.
Interesting. So I believe that helps the trader actually, or just the traders in the market actually track their finances, and I'm sure somehow that helps also the economy develop, I believe.
Indeed. So it cuts both ways. For the consumer, we're trying to do what we can to protect the rights of the consumer when it comes to getting value for their money.
Yeah.
But on the business sense, for the trader, whenever you're conducting businesses, you need accurate information.
Yes.
And that's what the agency is trying to achieve in bringing these MEDAs, about providing accurate measurements to know whether or not you're making profits or losses, things of that nature. So it cuts across both the welfare of the consumer and the business person as well.
Interesting. So that's just one of the projects you're working on. What's the other project, or is it still ready, or is it still on the pipeline?
So one of the other projects deals with we're in the dairy sector as well, and it's about trying to find the effective and efficient ways that cut across the entire dairy chain. So that's a project that is still in the works, and so far we talked to the whole supply chain, from the farmers to the milk collection centers to the distributors, and we've been having fruitful discussions with the Dairy Association of Zambia as well. So that's a project that is still ongoing, and so far so good.
Okay, and what's the response in that area? I know milk is a vital commodity on the Zambian market. Probably we can talk, when we talk milk, we've got children under 5 whose daily diet actually requires milk intake. But also, I'm sure even the suppliers and producers, how are they responding to it, or is it still in the process?
Well, the project is currently still in the process, so we're still getting as much information as we can. For us, we are really concerned about what measurement method are they using as they move from one stage to the other. Are the farmers happy? Are the milk collection centers, are they getting value as well going through the chain to the distributors? So the response, I think, has been very informative, very enlightening, and we, as the project continues, we hope to see that there's an efficient way of measuring throughout those chains.
Okay, interesting. So now you've also the Zambia Metrology Agency, not the metrological department.
Not the metrological.
Just to be clear, I'm sure you've been receiving calls even from people concerning the weather, and thank God it rained. But also, you're the Metrology Agency, who's been participating, actually have been participating in events. Currently, you're also part of the Zambia Association of Manufacturers Expo going on. Tell us about that. How are you participating, and how's the response from that?
Right. So the exhibitions happened today, and as a measurement agency, the significance of measurements, not just in our daily lives but industry, is quite vital.
Yes.
The Zambia manufacturing industry is growing.
Indeed.
We're having more local products. And so, like I mentioned, the Zambian, as a national measurements regulator, we are first of all responsible for disseminating the units that are needed for industry in their processes. And so it's the role of measurements is quite significant. It's not just about the quantity, but the quality of things also get affected. So it's about ensuring that industry uses the right measuring tools, uses the right measurement units. There's so many measuring units out there. There's the metric system, there's the imperial, things like that. So it's about ensuring that they're using the right units that are traced to the international standard, and that way there's again a harmonization of trade processes and manufacturing, and that way Zambian products are able to compete favorably, not just locally but across the market.
So now that's a good thing. It's a good thing you've driven us that way, because my next question was going to be about how the organization works. Does it just look at measuring the weight of Zambian products, or does that include even foreign made products that come into Zambia, are imported and sold here in Zambia?
So let me just outline the functions in response to your question. So as the agency, some of the functions include the designating of the measurement units. We're the custodian of the units, which we trace to the international system of units.
Yeah.
And then we also inspect and verify. There's what we call type approval. So we approve the type of measuring instruments used in the country.
Okay.
We also verify that these measuring instruments are measuring correctly, because that is quite key.
Yeah.
And then we also inspect pre-packaged commodities, both local and imported. And thankfully, through ZRA's Ascuda system, we're able to monitor imports that come into the country and track them down and inspect them. That way, consumers know that their rights are protected, because we randomly inspect to ensure that the companies are complying to the net content they've declared on their product.
Interesting. I wish I could have you much longer, but before I let you go, and I'll need your last words, but also, how do we get in touch with you? Let's say I'm a manufacturer. I know I'm a local manufacturer. I've got this product, and I just measure my own way, and probably I need advice on how to measure the right way and get regulated properly. How do we get in touch with you?
Well, first of all, we are at the ZAM Week exhibitions from Wednesday to Thursday, so you can always catch us there. Another way to get in touch with us is via our online platform. So we have a website. It is www.zma.org.zm. We also have a Facebook platform that's called the Zambia Metrology Agency. You can look us up on Facebook, like the page, and to get in touch with us. But you can also call us. That's on 0211 222 294, and our friendly staff will be able to interact and get your concern.
Indeed. Any final words? What should we expect from Zambia Metrology Agency?
Well, we would like to ask the consumers, the public, to come through the stand tomorrow and on Friday, just to interact with us and learn more about the agency. But for any complaint or whatever issue that it is you have surrounding the application of measurements, please feel free to look us up and get in touch with us, and we'll be able to deal with whatever concerns that you may have.
All right. Thank you so much for coming through, Chola.
It's been such a pleasure. Thank you.
Definitely. We look forward to having you again.
Thank you.
All right. So that was our representative from the Zambia Metrology Agency, and they deal with weights and other measures, and definitely there's a lot involved. So be sure to join them tomorrow at East Park Mall, where there's an exhibition going on, an expo organized by the Zambia Association of Manufacturers, and that's ZAM, who are spearheading the event, and there'll be a conference held there tomorrow, same day, same time. But we get straight to capital market, and we go to our foreign exchange rates as compiled by Zanaco, where the United States dollar is buying at 13 kwacha 74 ngwe and selling at 14 kwacha 1 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 17 kwacha 65 ngwe and selling at 18 kwacha only. And the euro is buying at 15 kwacha 13 ngwe and selling at 15 kwacha 43 ngwe. The South African rand is buying at 92 ngwe and selling at 94 ngwe respectively. Now that takes us off to the commodity prices as compiled by Bloomberg News, where copper prices on the London Metal Exchange are traded at $5,869 per ton, after seeing itself go down by 0.81% from the previous trading day's price. And crude oil through the Brent market actually saw a negative trade in itself and dropped by 0.47 as it traded at $61.77 per barrel. Gold through the commodity exchange market, COMEX, saw itself trade positively today as it traded at $1,462.90 an ounce, going up by 0.63% from the previous trading day's price. And on that note, we end CBC Business Outlook. Be sure to join us tomorrow, same time, same place. And don't forget to get yourself, to the Zambia Association of Manufacturers Expo. And, be sure to enjoy proudly Zambian-made products from there and learn a bit more. If you're a manufacturer, that's the place you need to be. Till next time, I'm Jimmy Kanasha. Up next is CBC News Tonight.
And it's headed firmly